Alright, so this is going to be a little lesson on angle addition and angle bisectors. The thing you want to make sure you understand is what a bisector is. So this is a line that cuts two angles in half. And make sure you put this in your notebook. So if we have a bisector, it cuts an angle, an angle, then it tells you that each side of that is in half. So like if we had an angle of, let's put one here. So if we had an angle bisector right here, A, B, and this was angle CAD, if this cuts this in half, and we know that this one is 25 degrees, and since it cuts it in half, the other angle is 25 degrees as well, we could figure out the total angle CAD, or lots of different things. But that's kind of how it works. So it's an angle that cuts another angle perfectly in half. So let's see what we got here for information. So it says in the figure below, angle JKM is 92 degrees. So this whole thing is 92 degrees. And it says the measure of angle LKM, so this one is equal to 44 degrees. And then it says, and KN bisects, and here's KN right here. So KN bisects LKM, which is this one right here. Okay, so this bisects this one in half, right? Or this one in half, right? So then that tells us that this should also be equal to, what am I missing here? Okay, so these are some problems on angle bisectors and angle addition. So we're given some of the angles, and then we have to use the information we're given and do some algebra and figure out some unknown angles. So the first thing it gives us here is the measure of angle ABD. This one right here, this whole thing is equal to 85 degrees. I'm just going to put this out here. The whole thing is 85. Okay. And then it says the measure of angle CBD, and if I just maybe highlight this and show you what I mean, do grade. So CBD, this one right here, that is equal to 44. So that whole thing there, we'll just do it with green. That's 44 degrees. Just color code that green, 44. And then it gives us one more thing. It says BE bisects CBE. So here's BE. It bisects CBE. So that then tells us that each side of this angle is half of that. So then we could really say, if we wanted to, this is 22 degrees. And this other side is also 22 degrees. We have a lot of angles in here, okay, as well. So then the last thing it says, though, it says find the angle ABE. So that one, let's see what that says. This one, it now wants to know this one and this one, right? So we have to use the information given to figure it out. Well, we know this is 22, right? And we know this whole angle here is 44. And what we can do is we can kind of solve back, figure out what this angle is. We already know this one's 22. If we have this 22, this measure of angle CBE, we add to the measure of angle ABC, we should be able to figure that out. Okay, so how we would do that is, we know this whole thing is 44, right? We just said right here, 44, right? This whole angle. So then, and we know the entire angle from this side to here is 85. So if we just first take the measure of angle ABD minus the measure of angle CBD, that will give us the measure of angle ABC. So then we go measure of angle ABD is 85. And then we have CBE right here, right here, that's 22. Now we'll equal that angle right here, right? Because we'll take that away, so on. Let's see, CBD, that's actually 44, not 22, sorry about that. Don't get that confused. So then we'll end up with 41 degrees equals the measure of angle ABC. We want to double check it, right? So if we have 41 plus 44, that gives us 85. Because we got this one and that one, that's right. So then we know that one, and then if we want to figure out this last little piece here, because we know what this one is, it's 41. If we want to know this last little piece, we just add 22. So if we want to know the measure of angle ABD, it's equal to the measure of angle ABC, this one, plus the measure of angle CBE. So this one right here. At this angle and this angle, we'll get the total angle. So you plug that in, 41 plus 22, 63 degrees, equals the measure of angle ABD. That should be your answer. So that's kind of how you do that. I'm going to do one more for you. So let's look at a different one here, a little bit different. And this one here says in the figure below, a measure of angle ABD, right here, is equal to 92. So we know this total thing is 92. And then it says BC, this one right here, bisects ABD. So it bisects it, right? So we know this thing right here cuts this entire angle in half. Okay? And BE bisects CBE. So BE bisects CBE. And it says find the measure of angle, looks like EBD. Looks like EBD. Sorry about that. Okay, and so how do we do that? So first of all, we know the entire angle is 92 degrees. BC bisects that. So then we would just take, we'd know this is half of 92, and so is this. So 92, that looks like that would be 46 degrees. 46 degrees, both of these, you add them together, you get 92, right? And then it says BE bisects this one, so then we would know that this one here is 23 degrees, and this one here is 23 degrees. And it wants to know what EBD is, right here, it should be 23 degrees. And we could write this out, right? So if we want to find out what EBD, we could say the measure of angle CBE plus the measure of angle EBD equals the measure of angle CBD. And then we plug in what we know. So CBE, we're not quite given that, but we can figure that out. But really we kind of are, we figured it out. Let's see what other ones we know first though. So the measure of angle EBD, kind of figured that out, and then equals the measure of angle CBD. So we just probably start with there, right? So we want to start and say the whole thing's equal to 46 degrees. And then we would know that these are cut in half, right? And if we figure out one of the angles, 23 degrees, we would know this angle has to be equal to the same 23 degrees. And that would give us the measure of angle C, or EBD, is equal to 23 degrees. That's kind of how you do it. So we get two bisectors. This is a bisector. We know the whole thing is 92. We end up with 46 and 46. Then we know that BE also bisects this 46. So then we know 23 and 23. And then we know that's how we get that answer. So add some of these notes to your notebook, and then I will assign an assignment in Alex for you to try out and see if you can do some of these, and see you in class tomorrow if you did these after school.